A few months back, I shared my lipoprotein A test results, which were high at a level of 150. Having an elevated lipoprotein A significantly increases my risk of heart disease. I promised an update after seeing a cardiologist, and that visit finally happened earlier this week. To be totally honest, the conversation left me with mixed feelings. While my cardiologist acknowledged my results, she didn't think that testing for lipoprotein A was necessary, since there's no direct way to lower it. While I can understand her reasoning for this, I have to respectfully disagree, because learning my lipoprotein A level changed the way that I think about my heart health and made me take symptoms seriously that I might have otherwise ignored. Hi, I'm Valerie, a lifestyle nurse. I believe that no matter your age or current health status, that you have the power to take charge of your well-being and live a longer, healthier life. My goal is to share with you the knowledge and tools that will empower you to make that happen. In this video, I want to update you on what my cardiologist recommended, why I initially pushed for further testing, and what I believe is the best next step for my heart health. I'll also be explaining what a nuclear stress test is and why I agree it is the right test for my situation and how it compares to a cardiac CT calcium score. For me, discovering my high lipoprotein A wasn't just about knowing a number. It pretty much changed the way that I approach my personal heart health. Before I got that test result, I wasn't overly concerned. I ate well, I stayed active, and I don't have what most people would consider classic heart disease symptoms. But once I saw that high lipoprotein A level, I started looking at my body a little bit differently. I began paying closer attention to things that I might have otherwise brushed off, like occasional palpitations and feeling more out of breath on uphill hikes than I should, given how much I hike. Now, these definitely are not dramatic symptoms, but I feel that they are out of proportion to my fitness level. I spend a lot of time hiking and rock climbing and pushing my body outdoors, and my cardiovascular fitness has always been a priority. I don't want to wake up one day and realize I ignored an early warning sign that could have helped me prevent something more serious. I want to do everything in my power to keep my heart strong, so that I can keep doing the things I love for as long as possible. And I know I'm not alone in this. Everyone has their own deeply personal reasons for maintaining their heart health. So maybe it's wanting to be there for your kids or your grandkids, or maybe it's traveling, or staying independent, or simply feeling good in your body. Whatever it is, your reason matters, and it's worth taking action to protect it. For me, it's also about peace of mind. I frequently venture miles into the wilderness, often in remote areas with no cell service and no immediate access to medical care. The last thing I want is to be out on a trail, hours away from help, and suddenly realize that there's something very wrong with my heart. I want to know that my body can handle the challenges that I put it through, and that I'm not unknowingly ignoring a major red flag. When I saw my new cardiologist, she listened to my heart murmur and didn't think it sounded too concerning, but she agreed to order an echocardiogram to take a closer look. That's important because high lipoprotein A is linked to aortic stenosis, and this test will check for any narrowing of my aortic valve. But for me, the bigger concern is whether my arteries are developing plaque despite my healthy lifestyle. So after discussing my concerns and my symptoms, she also ordered a nuclear stress test, which, while a bit inconvenient, is the best way to get the answers that I need. Since my cardiologist recommended a nuclear stress test, I want to take a moment to explain what it is, why it's done, and why I now agree that it is the best option for my situation. A nuclear stress test is a more advanced version of a standard exercise stress test, and its purpose is to see how well blood is flowing to the heart, both at rest and under exertion. It helps to identify blockages in the coronary arteries that might not be obvious when the heart is at rest, but could show up when it's working harder. Now, preparing for this test comes with a few specific instructions. For starters, I can't eat for at least 4 hours beforehand, and for a full 24 hours before the test, I have to avoid all caffeine, including my beloved morning coffee. That's because caffeine can interfere with the test results by affecting how the heart responds. If you're someone who drinks coffee every morning, this can definitely be a little inconvenient, but it's important to get an accurate reading. The test itself happens in stages. First, I'll be injected with a small amount of a radioactive tracer that allows doctors to see blood flow to my heart on imaging. Then I'll walk on a treadmill, gradually increasing the intensity so my heart is working harder. If someone isn't able to exercise, there is a medication alternative that mimics the effects of physical exertion by making the heartbeat faster. And I do have some concerns about this because I have a bad ankle that interferes with how fast I can walk. But the exercise version gives higher quality results, so she wanted me to try that first. So after the exercise, a second dose of the tracer is injected and another set of images is taken so that the doctor can compare blood flow when my heart is at rest versus when it's under stress. The goal is to see if any part of my heart isn't getting enough oxygen-rich blood, which would suggest a blockage in the coronary arteries. If blood flow looks normal, that's a great sign. But if certain areas show reduced blood supply, it could indicate a problem that needs further attention. So in my initial video about my elevated lipoprotein A, I talked about how I wanted to get a coronary artery calcium test that detects plaque in the arteries. At the time, I thought it would be a good starting point. So a way to get at least some insight into whether my arteries were developing plaque. Now looking back, I realized that I was hoping for just the bare minimum. So just a test that would either reassure me or confirm that I needed to dig deeper. But after talking with my cardiologist, I can see that a nuclear stress test is a much better choice for my situation. Even though the test takes some hours and requires some preparation, I agree with her that this is the right choice for me. It's a much more informative test than a simple cardiac CT scan because it shows not just whether I have plaque buildup, but whether that plaque is actually affecting blood flow to my heart. A nuclear stress test evaluates real-time blood flow to the heart. It can reveal if certain areas of the heart aren't getting enough oxygen during exertion, which is exactly what I want to know, especially given my intermittent shortness of breath while hiking uphill. If something is restricting blood flow to my heart, I want to catch it now and not years down the line. Given my high lipoprotein A, my symptoms, and my physically active lifestyle, I want to know if my heart is truly performing the way that it should under stress. I'm sharing this journey because I want to emphasize something that I think a lot of people overlook. Early detection can save lives. When it comes to heart disease, waiting until you have severe symptoms or a major event like a heart attack is too late. By the time significant blockages are causing chest pain or other more noticeable symptoms, damage may have already been done. That's why it is so important to pay attention to the signs your body is giving you, even the subtle ones. For me, my high lipoprotein A result was a bit of a wake-up call. It made me more aware of symptoms that I might have otherwise dismissed, like the fact that I sometimes get more breathless than I think I should on uphill climbs, or that I occasionally experience palpitations that I had brushed off as stress. If I hadn't known about my lipoprotein A level, I might not have thought much of it, but now I do, and I have the opportunity to be proactive rather than reactive about my heart health. And that is something that I want for everyone. Maybe you don't have high lipoprotein A, but you have other risk factors like a family history of heart disease, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, or even unexplained fatigue or shortness of breath. These things might not seem urgent, but they are worth investigating. I also want to remind you that you are your own best advocate. If you feel like something is off, push for answers. If one doctor dismisses your concerns, find another who will listen. And if you have the opportunity to do advanced testing, consider it because peace of mind is priceless. For me, this nuclear stress test is a part of a bigger commitment to my long-term health. I want to know that my heart is strong enough to keep up with my lifestyle, my hiking, my climbing, and my active days spent out in nature. And I also want to make sure that I'm not missing an issue that could impact me later on. Because the best time to catch a problem is before it becomes a crisis. As I move forward on these tests, I'll continue sharing my experience so that you can learn from my journey and apply it to your own health. So look for that update coming up in about a month. And if you're looking for ways to take control of your own heart health, I put together Thrive in 25, a program with 26 simple science-backed steps to improve your overall health, lower your heart disease risk, and build habits for longevity. If you're interested in learning more, look for a link in the video description. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more updates on heart health, prevention, and longevity. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, please take good care of yourself.